What's up, guys? So in this video we are going to be building this preview card component challenge from Frontendmentor, and we'll be building it with HTML and CSS. So if I don't have this open, if I go to frontendmentor.io, so it's actually a free challenge and it's a newbie challenge. And if I go back to the actual project, and you can see it's also responsive for mobile as well. All right, you can also download the file to follow along, and I will leave the link to the complete project in the description. All right, so I have VS Code opened and I just brought in the folder. So if you download the project from the zip file from Frontendmentor, you should have the same files I'm having right here. I'll also leave a link in the description so that you can download it directly as well. And I also have I have the design file. So if I go back, the design files, there are 4 states. I just forgot to bring in this one, but it's fine. I just have both of them right here so that we can structure it out before writing HTML and styling it. So the first thing I'll do is to, okay, let me leave this as this. Let me bring in our index.css file, close it out, and I don't need this style sheet. You can leave it if you want to. I don't need it. And I will just link CSS. I'll say, you know what, I will just change this to style CSS. All right, cool. I also don't need this part as well. So let's open it on our browser. So I'll click on go live. Now it gives me this port right here. So by doing this, I can just make changes right here, and automatically the changes get reflected. And I'm using an extension called live server. So this one by retweak day. All right, cool. So I think I've said this before. I start from mobile first when styling, but when I'm writing the code, I write it with the desktop first approach. So basically we have 2 columns right here on desktop, while on mobile they are being stacked on top each other. So if I bring in my pen tool, we'll have this container, this one right here. Let me change this color to something else. Okay, so we have this right here. This would be a div on its own. Then we'll also have another div holding everything. And then this will be in the div itself, as well as this. And each section will also be in a div, like this one be in a div, and we can separate these if we want to, but I'll try and put 3 of these in a div. So I normally advise or suggest that you break things into different segments to make your life very easier. So we're going to write the code following this structure. Then when we're designing it, we'll work from this text layout. So if I go back, I can come inside my body and I'll call this the main, and I can just call this give this a class container. So this container now is this this pink background right here. Or you know what, I will just put the pink background in the body directly. I think that makes more sense. Then the container will hold this right here. Then we'll have another container that is going to have this white background. Let me Ctrl Z. This is becoming messy. All right, so let me go back inside this, create another div. I'll call this product container, and inside the product container we'll have this image and this content right here. And they also give us two images, one for product, one for desktop and one for mobile. But we'll change the mobile later on. We'll change from mobile to desktop later on our CSS. All right, so I will say there should be the image, and also have one for the content as well. For the image, we'll have a div and give this a class of image, and inside it we'll bring in the mobile image. Call this one just product image. Then in the content, say this should be class of content. Inside it we'll have this tag or category. So just call this category and it's perfume. Just make this lowercase. Then we'll have an h1. So I'm using Codium, which is like GitHub Copilot, but it's free. So you can just go to codium.com, or you can so they have an extension, but I think you also need to go to their website in order for you to sign up. So it basically saves you the stress of typing everything most times. So this will be an h1. I'll pass in this right here. And I'll add this as a word to my file. Then this will be the text. So I'll say text, and I will pass in all this, paste it right here, and add this as well. Then what? Wow, okay, so we have this price section. So under this, I'll call this price, and we'll have it should be in a p tag, not span, and this should be the current price. The current price should be this one. So this will be the current price, and this we'll just call this original price. Then I can copy this down and say this should be original price. Just pasting this right here. And lastly, we'll have a button that says add to cart. So call this button, give this a class of button. But you know what, I don't think that was necessary because we have one button, so there's really no need. So I will just copy this one and paste it right here. All right, cool. So now we have everything in place. We just need to style it up. So if I go back, I can let me go back right here and just open my dev tool. Bring this down a bit. I think it's better we start right here. All right. So I'll go back to my index style.css file. And I supposed to have done this earlier, but it doesn't really matter. I'll just do it right now. So if you look at the style guide they gave to us, they gave us the colors we're going to use. So there are both primary colors, neutral colors, typography as well as the font. So let's just quickly set that all up. We'll start with the colors. So I'll go back and I'll put this inside variables and say, let me just call this primary colors. And I normally if I go back, you see this is dark cyan and cream. I normally use numbers for my colors. So I will say it should be color primary 300. This should be, I think this is it. Yeah, it's that one. So for the 400, I think that's wrong. So I just copy this one, paste it right here. I can come to my neutral colors, say, okay, let's see if it's accurate. I need white, which is 100, yes. Dark grayish blue, all right, and 14. So get rid of this 400. So for the font, we also store them in variables. So I can just say font, and this will be the base font. We'll leave it at Montserrat, and the accent we'll leave it at this one. All right, so these are the fonts. Then we just quickly copy them to our project. I think I already have them. Yeah, I already have them. So let me just do it again. So I will just go to fonts and search for Montserrat, and I will get fonts, and I'll go back and search for the other one. I think it's called Francis. Is that the name? Okay, let me just copy it right here. Yeah, this one. Click on get fonts, then click on get embedded code, and I will use the link. You can decide to use import. So I'll click on copy code right there, go to our index HTML file, and I'll paste it right here. So now I close this out. You can see nothing is coming through yet. So what we'll do is that let me quickly add some resets. So get rid of all the margins, padding, and set the box sizing. So border box. Okay, all the spaces are gone. So the image right now is overflowing, but we want it to fit the screen. So say image, and I will set the max width to 100%. All right, cool. While for the font family, you can just put that to the body and say font family should be the base font. So we start with Montserrat. I think that's fine. Let me open this a bit. All right. Then remember, if we go back to the design, you see that this has a pink background. I think it was not given to us in the colors, so I already have that down. I'll just say F3 EA E3. So if we check now, you see that okay, everything is coming into place. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to center it on the screen. Right now it's not being centered, and we also need some spaces for mobile. Remember I said we're starting from the mobile approach. So I'll go back and target the container class. Remember we have the container right here, and set the max width to 1440 pixels. So the maximum width is coming from the one they gave to us right here. Then I will add a display of grid and place items center, and I'll also give this a height of 100 VH. So let's see it is okay. Now we'll need the space. So we'll say the padding inline, which is for the left and right, should be auto. Then also add the margin inline of auto as well, so that it can be centered both vertically and horizontally. But I don't think this is working right now. So the padding should be 1 rem, not auto. All right, cool. Now we need to target the product container, which is the one that's holding both the image and this content. So go back and set this product container. I'll give this a background color of white, which is the neutral 100. So let's see. Okay, then also at the border radius, say border radius, set this to 0.5 rem. All right, so it's coming through right here. Let me shrink this down. Let me just make this obvious. See that it's actually working. You can see right here. So set this back to 0.5, and now we need this image to have the border as well, because right now the border is still right here, but the image is covering it. So we'll target the image, so say image and image. So basically we're saying product container, the image class and the image tag. I'll set the border top right to 0.5 rem and border top left to 0.5 rem as well. So let's check. Okay, it's looking good right now. Now we need to style the content, which is everything right here. So we're at the padding of 1 rem around. So let's see. I think this is fine. And for this category right now, we say content, select the category. I will set the text transform to uppercase. Also set the letter spacing to, let's say, 5 pixels. And the color should be the 200. And the font size, no, we'll leave the font size first. And we'll set the font weight to 500. So I don't think, okay. So get rid of the font weight. All right. Then I'll add a margin bottom of 1 rem right here. Another cool thing I'll show you later on. Let's just do this. But I think if we set this to display of grid, and we add a gap of 1 rem, so it's going to add 1 rem to each and every part of it. I think we will just stick with this works fine. Then for this, I think we'll also have to reduce the size, and we also got this all wrong. It should be Gabriel Essence the perfume. So let me quickly correct this, getting rid of this one. Okay, and we'll go back and set the font size to like 0.8 rem. Okay, not bad. Let's just say 0.9 rem. It's not pixel perfect, but I think it's almost there. Then for this header, we can say this should be content h1, and set the color to this neutral 300, and I'm thinking it's neutral. Let's check. Let's go back and see. Okay, so it's actually neutral 200. So let's say this should be 200. This should be 300. Let's see how it is. Okay, this is much better. Then we can add the font weight of 700, and the font size we just set it to 2 rem, and the line height we leave it at 1 because for the design it's very close. Then we also need to change the font family to the accent, which is the Florence one. Okay, I think this looks nice. I think for this text, let's see, also need to change the color as well to match this color, and also add a little bit of line height. So let's say content, grab the text, say the color should be 300, and the line height should be 1.5. I think that works. Okay. Also, I think we also need to have a little bit of font weight. So say font weight, let's say 500. Let me see. Okay, let's take it back to the base one. So we'll just leave it at 400, which is the base one. Then for the price, you can come to content, get the price, and add a display of flex, align item center, add a gap of, let's say, 1 rem, and let's see. All right, cool. Then we also need to style both the current price and the original price. So for the current price, we set the color to primary 400. Then the font weight should be, let's just say 800. They do give, I guess they give font weight to use, yeah, but most times it doesn't really matches. And this should be 300. All right. They will also give this a font size of 2 rem, like so. And we also change the font family to the accents one as well. Alright, I have a feeling that this is too big, but we'll see. So move on. Then for the original price, we'll say original price. I will set the color to 200, or let's just leave it at 300. Then we'll add the line through. So I really don't know how Codium does this. It just figures out what you want to do. Okay, I think this works fine. Yeah, so we need to style the add to cart button. And again, I forgot to bring in this cart icon. So go back to the index file, and inside here, just bring in image and say there should be image, say icon cart. Then notice you see we have it right here. So what I will do, so just target the button, add the display of flex to push them side by side, justify content, center, line items will be center as well, add a gap of 1 rem. Let's also add the background color of a 300. Then we have, I think we set this to white as well. Let's get rid of the border. Also need some padding. Let's just add 1 rem all around. So let's see what we have so far. Okay, so we also need, if we check the design, you see there is a pill shape right here, and the font family is using the Montserrat font. So we'll set the border radius to 0.5 rem. And if you notice you're repeating something, the best thing to do, I will just do that right now. So say I have a variable for it. So say border radius. Let's just say radius instead. So this should be 0.5 rem. So anyway, we have 0.5 rem. And just say radius. So I think this is a better approach. I know this project is relatively small, but if you're working on a larger project, this will come in handy. And if you cool thing about it is that if you want this one to be larger, you can just come right here and just say radius right here should be 5 rem, and it's going to just apply to just this one. So that's the cool thing about it. So we'll just leave it as this. And also we need to change the font family to the base font. I also like to increase the font weight and the font size as well, so I can see 1.1 rem. Okay, I think that's too big. Let's check again. Okay, let's just leave it as it is. Oh, so basically we are done with the mobile side of things. Now we just want to line them side by side on desktop. All right, so if we scale it, you see it gets to some point where it kind of breaks. So the image, this thing is the maximum width of the image, and everything is looking kind of clunky. So you know what, we'll just close this out, come right here, say media query, say ads media, and let's just start from 768 pixels. So the first thing we want to do is to say grab the container and we'll give this a width of 7 6.8. I will set the margin inline. It's not inline to auto. So if we check, you can see that everything is lining perfectly on the center of the screen. Then we need this image to be at the left and this content to be at the right. So what we'll do is that we'll grab the product container, set it to display grid. I can't type today. And we'll set the grid template columns to repeat and say 2FR, 1FR. So basically 2 columns, 1 fraction each. So if we check, you see that both of them are aligning. So the images is not that better yet, but before we change it, let's just stretch it out. So we say we'll grab the product, grab the image and the image tag, and let's set the height to 100%. Okay, set the object fits to cover. All right, so let's check back the original design. So the curved shapes are right here, right here, right here, right here. So I think we have this two in check, but we need to get rid of this one and we need to enable this one. So the first thing we do is that I'll set this to, should I do it right here? Let's just say the border top right radius should be 0, then the border bottom left should be the radius right here. So let's see. Okay, I think this works fine. Now we want to change this image. So yeah, an easy way to do that is to just come here and set the content, and this should be in this URL method right here. Just direct the path and say this should be desktop. So let's see. Okay, now since this desktop is taking the, this is just how it is on desktop, but in order for me to make it think the design to have an even space and not this big space right here, because this image is stretching all the way down. Even if I get rid of this, I think it's still the same. Yeah, so it doesn't really change that much. So what I would do is to grab the aspect ratio and set this to 1/1. So as you can see, you see that the aspect ratio sets a preferred aspect ratio for the box, which is used to calculate the auto sizes. So basically, we setting it 1/1, we just calculate the size of the entire box and make it scale in place. But you can also play with numbers if you want to. All right, so let's also set the width to 100%. Since I'm setting the height to 100%, I think that works fine. Yeah, so right now the space right here is not as we want here, so you can just come right here to content and we just increase the padding to like 2 rem. If we check right now, I think this is much better, but you can still increase it much as we want. We can say the padding block, which is for the top and bottom, should be like 2.5, then the padding in line, which is for the left and right, should be 2 rem. So let's still see the design. I think there's more space right here. So where did we do that? I think we did that. Let me check again. Yeah, in the content. So in the content, we can just increase the gap to like 2 rem. Let's see. I think 2 rem is much better. 2 rem is much better. We'll leave it at this. And this is supposed to be a pointer. So let's say cursor right here should be pointer. All right, so I forgot to add the hover state. So if we go to state, see we have this dark image right now, but the color was not given to us. So what I will do is I will drag this to my Figma file right here and bring it right here. So it didn't come through, so just give me a minute for me to just import it right here. All right, so I have it right here. Like I said, the colors for these and these are different. They did give us this one. So what I'll just do is I'll create a rectangle right here and I will take the color right here, just copy it and go back to code right here, and I'll add a transition of background color. I'll say button hover, set the background color. This should be background color and background. Set it to this color right here. So can go back to our file. I think this is much better. Let's preview it again on mobile, see what we have. So it's looking nice. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Do well to leave a comment, like, share and subscribe if you found the video helpful. Till next time.